everyone, this is Donna with Magical Workings. I hope you're all having a wonderful and magical Friday. I just thought I'd come to you today and talk to you about growing up in a haunted house, or what I believe was a haunted house. And my experience as a child and growing up terrified. For me, it was a very negative experience because I had no clue what was going on and I didn't understand. And I always thought that something was trying to hurt me and come after me. My parents always told me it was in my head, that I was making it up, that to ignore it, that there were no such thing as ghosts. I think I was 3 or 4 years old the first time I ever experienced anything, and that was a big green hand coming out of the wall at me. And I woke up, jumped out of my bed, got into my mom's bed. My bed at the time was in my mom's room, or my parents' room, and I jumped in bed with them, and I looked over, and that hand was still there. And I was terrified. And my mom says, there's nothing there, you're dreaming. I'm like, I'm awake, it's there, you don't see it, it's right there. I could see it plain as day. Now that I'm older, I think about it, I can still see that hand in my mind, plain as day. I know what I saw, but I was young. I will give it the benefit of the doubt that maybe that was a dream. But there were way too many other things that happened in that house. When my brothers and sisters moved out, I was given their room. And for me, I feel things. I can feel presence of things. I don't necessarily, I have seen things, but I can feel them more than I can see them usually. And in that room, I felt it. It was a very negative feeling to me. I did not like the room. That room was the longest standing portion of the house. It was built, I believe, in 1903. We lived in what was called the Tower District. It was a very old neighborhood. Many of the houses were believed to be haunted in that area. And a lot of strange activity and things happened in that area. Let's see. In that room, things that would happen, I remember sitting on my bed and the bed was shaking so hard. I jumped off, ran, told my parents, oh no, it's your imagination, it's the train. It happened again when I had a friend with me. She swore up and down it happened. My parents didn't believe me. Nothing else in the house shook, just my bed. There was a time I believe I saw red glowing eyes looking down through a grate that was in the ceiling and that went up into the attic, and my mom swore, oh, it was probably a rat looking down at you and its eyes caught the light. Maybe. Who knows? Things would disappear in the house. I would get blamed for taking things, and I never took them. My dad's fishing knife or hunting knife that he had disappeared one time. It was gone for a month and a half. And he swore I took it, or one of my friends took it. And we used to eat in the living room. Everybody would sit either in their recliner, or I sat at the coffee table which was the last place my dad had ever seen his knife. And we were eating dinner one night, and I looked over, and next to my plate, his knife was laying there. It wasn't there before we sat down to eat. It just appeared. Nobody could explain it. My dad just kind of laughed it off. He's like, well, I don't know. My mom used to say that we had what she called gremlins. She said the gremlins stole things. And, we'd be washing dishes and have the sponge in our hand, and we'd set it down on the sink next to us, and we'd look back over to grab it, and it'd be gone. And she'd say, oh, the gremlins took it. We never did find it. Other things would disappear. There are things that never reappeared. I have some theories on that maybe there was like another dimension that they slipped into. I do believe in multi-dimensions. Overlapping time, things like that. But that's for another video. So other things that happened, I would go into the bathroom and lock the door, and I'd come out and the door would be unlocked. I started thinking that I was going crazy. I took a little notebook into the bathroom and I'd write down, I lock the door. And I'd get up to leave the bathroom and then it'd be open again. And I'm like, I know I locked it. I wrote it down. Water faucets would turn on by themselves. My mom would chalk it up to water pressure. The hairdryer turned on by itself. Yes, it was plugged in, but it was still on the off position. Just a lot of strange things. Things would fall off the walls. Things would be moved. Like I said, I always felt there was a presence there, and I really felt that it was after me. Nothing specifically happened to me in the house. I had a friend who, her family was into witchcraft. I don't know what type. I was told never to say anything about what we did at their house or about their practices or anything like that. I met her when I was 5 years old. We'd make potions together. I remember her mom would sit us down in the living room. There was a group of kids and we'd all hold hands and we'd concentrate on making the lights flicker or turn off. She taught us how to feel the energy of cards and read cards by feeling the energy with our hand. I didn't understand it. I thought we were playing games. And I was told by this little girl as we got older that if I ever said anything that she'd kill me or seriously harm me. And well, I told. And she came to me and says, I know you told. I heard you. She didn't even know who I told. So, coincidence possible. I used to have dreams of flying with her, astral projection, and she'd come to school the next day and talk to me about it. I think there was more to it than, just little kids playing or figuring it out, or I don't know. Anyways, I was house sitting for her one day. And I forgot to feed the cats. I house sat for them quite often. And she threatened me. She told me that things would happen to me. I want to say about a week later, I got into a serious car accident. And I wound up breaking my back and my neck, completely shattering my fourth vertebrae where they had to put pins and plates in and pick the bone out of my spinal cord piece by piece. I was really lucky. I can still walk. I'm pretty much functional. I'd say 89-90% back to normal. I can't do everything that I used to be able to do. But, my mom always wonders if she cursed me or put a spell on me or did something to cause that accident to happen because, I told my mom when she threatened me. And it was shortly after that happened. There were other times that I'd be at her house and I'd feel a presence there or something going on. And I told her, I remember one night telling her that, promise me nothing's going to happen to me. And she looked at me, she says, you already know what's going to happen. I told her, well, promise nothing bad's going to happen. She said, you already know. I'm not going to tell you that nothing's going to happen to you. So I remember calling my mom up at 2 in the morning. Her mom tried to calm me down, get me to stay. She didn't want me to leave. I called my mom at 2 in the morning and had her pick me up. I think I was 12 years old then, and I never spent the night at her house again. That was previous to the accident. when I was house sitting for her, they'd go out of town, and it was my responsibility to feed their animals and take care of their animals. I was scared to go in the house by myself, and I'd have a friend come with me, but they would refuse to go in the house because they said that it just felt like goosebumps up their arms and spine as soon as they walked up to the door. So, anyways, that's my story there. I don't know if I got off topic or not with growing up in a haunted house. Anyways, I was a paranoid child. I was scared to death of something going to happen to me. And I think my biggest issue now is that my mom always told me that there was nothing there. And when I was older and moved out, she admitted to me she knew that things happened in that house, and she believed in ghosts, where she always told me no. She eventually told me about I believe it was my great-grandmother who practiced witchcraft, and it runs in the bloodline. My mom read palms. My grandmother was into astrology, and my great-grandmother had books upon books and Ouija boards and all kinds of things, which I guess my aunt took when she passed. So witchcraft and things are, I guess, something I've always been drawn to. I was always curious and kind of followed in that path. My mom now is a devout Mormon. She says she wishes she forced me to go to church. But I think I did go to church for a while. I went to Catholic church. I looked into Pentecostal church. A few others she cried until I agreed to be baptized Mormon. And during my baptismal, for me, it was a very negative experience. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Mormon people are wonderful people. I don't believe that any religion is wrong. If it's right for you, that's great. You follow your own path. And what works, works. For me, it didn't work. During my baptism, I had a very, very negative experience where I saw myself as this tree, this beautiful, full tree, and it died. And the leaves fell off, it shriveled up, and at the end I was this old woman shriveled up, dying. And I felt like that was my soul being just crushed and dying. And I never went back. Now I read tarot. I'm really into past life regression, and I've taught classes on that before. Again, I guess I'm kind of rambling on and going off with my story of growing up in a haunted location.